Once upon a time, they called the younger stepsister a goblin, until the day she began chiseling herself into a princess. I used to think that love could forgive anything, even a face like mine. People called me names when I was little: goblin girl, plump elf, crooked nose freak. I got used to it. I buried myself in books and wrote poems under the sheets at night, stringing together words about a prince I'd never meet. But then he came along, Prince Han. He wrote verses more beautiful than I ever could. I clipped his poems from the Castle Gazette and hid them in a box beneath my bed. I told myself, if someone like him could write like that, then maybe he could also see beyond the surface of things. That hope kept me warm. After my mother passed away, I stayed behind in the manor, living with my stepsister Cinderella. Cinderella was born lovely. Thin lips, pale skin, the kind of effortless beauty that earned glances from strangers before she even spoke. She was kind to me, in the way one is kind to a younger sister. But kindness isn't the same as understanding. When people looked at the two of us, they assumed who was chosen and who was forgotten. Then came the day in the woods. I had only wandered beneath the trees, hoping the quiet might soothe me, when distant laughter broke through the stillness. It was Prince Han and his hunting party, all dressed in silks and boasting about their exploits. One of them asked what kind of girl Han liked, and he didn't even pause.
Sharp angles, wide eyes, lashes like fans, a high nose, porcelain skin, a tiny waist, and a fragile frame. That was the kind of beauty I wanted. And in the end, I was the one who set the standard for this entire kingdom.
Then they laughed, the kind of laughter that feels like teeth. He turned suddenly, his gaze landing on the trees where I crouched behind a trunk. His smile didn't falter.
And of course, only beautiful girls need apply. The ugly ones shouldn't even bother.
They roared again, louder this time, like hunters circling something they never meant to show mercy to. I didn't cry. I went home. That night, I stood in front of the mirror and made a promise. If beauty was the only language the prince understood, then I would learn it. I would speak it fluently. And so I began. Every morning, I pulled my corset so tight that it left raw lines across my belly. I fainted twice before noon during that first week. Then I visited the cosmetic apothecaries in the capital, trading family jewels for syringes, scalpels, and sterile hooks. They molded my face like clay, slicing, stitching, stretching. My nose was clamped in a metal brace until it bled. My lashes were sewn into place with threads so thin it shimmered in candlelight. My jaw was shaved to look sharper. Though the pain was unbearable, I clenched my teeth and endured it, whispering to myself that it would all pass, so long as it made me beautiful. I didn't stop eating. I couldn't. But I found another way. There's a trick with tapeworms, you see. You swallow the eggs and they eat for you. Your stomach shrinks and you still feel full. I told myself it was clever. Cinderella saw what I was doing. She begged me to stop, held my wrists as I trembled with pain after a facial nerve spasm.
You don't need to do this.
You were born beautiful. You'll never understand what it means to be told, every day, that you are less than human because of your face. She didn't reply. She just stood there, guilt pressing against her silence. The royal ball arrived. I walked in with a waist as slim as my breath, lips painted in a trembling curve. For once, people stared, no longer with pity or revulsion, but with admiration. Han looked at me and smiled. He asked me to dance. I floated toward the floor on fragile heels, my heart light, as if I were stepping into a dream finally made real. But then she arrived, Cinderella. Her dress shimmered like mist, her presence swallowing every eye in the room. Han turned and I watched his gaze drift, then fix, then hunger. He dropped my hand as if I were never there. He asked her to dance. I stood at the edge, shivering beneath my borrowed beauty, and felt something cave inside me. I fled before the first chord of the waltz. Cinderella chased me home. In her rush, she lost a shoe on the palace steps. Glass, delicate, absurd. Han picked it up, his eyes gleaming with the thrill of a hunter who had just caught the scent of something rare. When Cinderella returned, we argued. Why did you come to the ball dressed like that? Did you want the prince to notice you that badly? You were born beautiful. Why did you have to compete with me too?
I only came to find you.
But I didn't believe her. Not then. Then the door suddenly burst open. Han stood at the threshold, the glass slipper gleaming in his hand.
Whoever fits this will be my bride.
Something in me snapped. I smiled, cold and sharp, and shoved my foot into the glass slipper, but it was far too small. I picked up a carving knife and walked to the front hall. Han didn't flinch. He watched, intrigued as I raised the knife and hacked off my biggest toe. Blood painted the floor like a carpet. I shoved my foot into the shoe. It fit. See? I'm perfect now.
Only 4 toes? Disgusting.
He pushed me away. My chest tightened, and suddenly, all the pain I had endured felt meaningless. Was it all truly for someone like the prince? The tears streamed down my face, unstoppable. Cinderella had picked up the other shoe and slammed it into Han's head. He collapsed. We tied him to a chair in the basement, his mouth gagged, eyes wide with disbelief. He looked at us like we were the monsters.
No more suffering in silence. He'll understand what he made us become.
We began. We used the same tools they'd used on us. Surgical thread, nose clamps, heated bone presses. I kept the iron rods steady as Cinderella quietly sewed his eyelids wider, murmuring poems that sounded all too familiar, perhaps even mine. With each pulled thread, each careful slice along his skin, I saw the echoes of a pain I had once survived. He wept through it all. By the time we were done, his face was grotesque, exaggerated, hollow, warped by the very standards he once worshipped. We didn't stay. We packed the jewelry, wrapped our wounds, and left the kingdom behind. Somewhere far, I hoped, there might be a place where beauty wasn't currency, where people like me didn't have to carve themselves into someone else's fantasy. Cinderella held my hand as we walked, and for the first time, I believed her when she said I was beautiful. Perhaps there was never any true standard of beauty at all. I didn't need to please the prince or anyone else. I only needed to be myself.